Today is Experiments Day. That's exciting. What I want to achieve, or try to achieve, is sync the root note of the track with the BPM. So the root note meaning the sub, the sine, the low note that's going to play the most often. The frequency of that is mathematically friendly with the BPM. The reason I want to try this is I was working on a 4/4 track, kind of a housey track or whatever, and there was a big low sine wave just relentlessly playing, and the kick was happening every beat, and I'm going, wouldn't it be cool if every time the kick played exactly on the line, there would be a zero crossing in the sine wave that was playing in the sub. I don't know what I want to achieve with this. I don't know if it'll sound better. Maybe it'll sound good on a big system. Maybe I've cracked some code. Maybe it's all bullshit. I don't know. But I wanted to invite you along to explore this with me and see if you have any ideas. Or do people use this already? I don't know. I'm going to probably build it in Max, but first, let me just show you what I hope to achieve. I'm using this drum and bass track. Let me just turn my side chaining on here very quickly. That's the wrong one. Sorry, I should have had this set up before I started. There we go. So what I'll do here, I just want the drums for now, so I'm going to solo these, and let's make it 120 just because it's easy to deal with. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to put in a 4/4 kick. Excellent. Now I'm going to create a new MIDI track. We'll call this sine. And put in an operator. Let's just make sure it's nice and clean. No release, 1 millisecond. And nothing else is affecting this. Turn off the filter, so we just got a nice clean sine wave. Now let me just put in a long note. I'm just going to pick my favorite, which is G. Make sure this is soloed. Maybe we should go on up an octave for this. Now I'm going to resample the sine wave. So we'll go sine, resampled. If anything I'm doing sparks an idea, please leave a comment. So I'm going to resample just the sine. And let's zoom in and have a look. Alright, that'll do. Now, let me just make this bigger for visual sake. And let's zoom in and have a look here. So we can see there's a nice smooth sine. And we also have a little envelope at the start of the clip. So there it is there. All good. And here's a new beat. But look down here. You'll see that... Oh, come on, Tom. You'll see that we don't have a zero crossing. See how this is not on the zero crossing line. This would be nice in the middle. It would be nice if this was mono as well, but anyway, we can deal with that later. So what I would... Or is that in the middle? It kind of looks in the middle actually. Well, it's not perfectly in the middle as you can see here. That's a better way to look at it. You can see here, it's not really in the middle. Here, it's definitely not in the middle. So, at 120 BPM, what frequency? I'm talking slowly here because this is all coming into my head as I'm speaking, so I'm not prepared for this. So we need to figure out what note we need exactly to get a perfect sine wave with zero crossings on every beat at 120 BPM. And let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to use Max for this, even though it's probably not going to affect anything in the track. I'm just going to use it for the maths. Okay, so first up we need a plug sync, which will give us the information we need from a track. So which one is the tempo? There, that's the tempo. So if I connect this to here, there we go, that's 100. and 20. We'll probably need a MIDI to frequency. So this will take a MIDI number and convert it to the frequency. So if we put a float value here and we copy it up here, we change the display style to MIDI, like so. If we drop this in, so as I move up through this, you'll see this is the frequency of this note. So yeah, we're looking for, what we need to do though is we need to divide the tempo by a certain amount. So we need to divide the tempo, or the BPM, so that comes in, and then I think we need to divide it by 8. And we'll also connect this to a trigger bang floating point, so that will come in, it will get sent to the right inlet, and we also need to re-trigger this, so this needs to go TFF to split the float out. We need to have it going into a message box, and we also need to have it going into another float box. Okay, then this can go in here, this can go here. Right, and then this should output us the frequency of our sine wave, maybe. So let's go 8. So that's 15, which is too low. So let's go divided by 4 instead. So that's giving us 30 Hertz. And let's do the opposite of this. Let's do frequency to MIDI. We'll put 30 Hertz. That needs to be a message box. An object, sorry. Frequency to MIDI. So 30. Well, look, it says F sharp. Oh no, that's not going to work, is it? Okay, get rid of that. 30 in frequency to MIDI is going to output what note? 23, and that in MIDI is B-1. Okay, so this is still not perfect because we're going to be off by a little bit, because if I was to go B1, or we'll just get another MIDI box and go MIDI to frequency, and if I choose B1 here, nope, you'll see this is 30.867, etc., which is important, unfortunately. So what we could do here, okay, for a start, let's send this into here. No, that was the wrong thing to do. Let's just send that into here. So it's almost like I need to change the decimal places here. We're going to have to get some screen real estate going on. Okay, so I actually need to change this. I need to change the decimal places of the BPM. Actually, it's easier if we just do it inside here. So we don't need the plug sync for now. So if this is 120 BPM, and then we need to bang this again. So we need to get this as a whole number. So let's start moving this and see what we get. Okay. So this is just giving us a blunt output. So, this isn't giving us any room for error. It's kind of one or the other. And I don't think frequency to MIDI is going to give us a floating point output either. It's not. Okay. Well, I mean, the other way to do it is find a note. I'm going to have to think on that and get back to it. Is to find a note that does output a nice whole number frequency. We'll try that to wrap up this video, and then I'll have a bit of a think on how we can achieve this. So here we need MIDI to frequency. And let's just connect that into a float box, and let's look for a nice whole number. Doable. Doesn't look like we're going to get one on the bass area. It looks like we're pretty restricted for our options here. So A1 gives us 27.5, and if we were to multiply that by 4, we would get 110 BPM, or we could use 220 BPM as well. So let's try that. Let's just try that. Let's record a sine wave, which is a -1 at 110 BPM. Let's see if all of this is worth anything, because if it's not, I'm going to stop recording this video and not post it. Okay, so we're at 110. This needs to be A1, or A0 would work. Would A0... Ooh, hang on, would A0 work? Yeah, I mean it would, but it's not as accurate as I want it to be. So let's just do A1. Let's just stick with what we're working on here. I would like to be able to go lower. Okay. I'm hearing a weird buzz. I'm not sure if it's in my headphones or it's you guys. I think it is my headphones. Weird. Okay, let's go ahead and record this. Okay, that'll do. Let's zoom in here. Get rid of this. Let's just make sure it starts. Why doesn't that start at the zero crossing? That's slightly frustrating. Okay, well we can fix that ourselves. Learning lots of stuff here. This is not something I usually mess with. So let's put the play, or let's move this back so that the zero crossing is that exactly right? No, not quite. So that's exactly there. We're at 110 BPM. Now let's go check out this beat here. Oh, look. Right in the middle. Okay, let's go across to 49.3. Right in the middle. So there we go. So that is working to a degree. What happens if I do A0? Will I do the zero crossing? It should do. It would be nice to have a nice low note. So let's re-record that. That'll do. Bring that back. Same thing again. I don't know why that's doing that, but anyway. Interesting. This one seems to have gone down. Is it different every time? This has gone up and then down. Try it again. No, it seems to be the same. Okay, so there we go. There it is there. Now let's skip ahead and have a look. Oh yeah, that is over the zero crossing. What about here? Yes, it is. Perfect. Okay. There you go. So that is part one of this experiment. I'm going to stop this video. I'm going to have a bit of a think about how I can get an equation so that I can choose a note and it will tell me exactly what BPM, because the reason for that is it's easier to do a BPM with decimal places than it would be to, say, repitch the synthesizer. But I'm just thinking what we could actually do is turn this into a synthesizer, because it's pretty easy to generate a sine wave of any frequency that we want from max. But we'll see. We'll have to think about it. Thanks for coming along.